David Carradine stands on a doorstep in Los Angeles when the door opens and Bruce Lee's widow sees him for the first time in 30 years. What Lee Cadwell says in the next 45 minutes does not destroy him. It frees him. But first she makes him sit in Bruce's chair, the chair no one has sat in since 1973, Los Angeles, California, February 2003, Saturday afternoon, 2:30 p.m. Bel Air, a quiet street lined with palm trees and privacy hedges, the kind of neighborhood where famous people live when they want to stop being famous for a few hours, where the houses are set back from the road, where the only sounds are sprinklers and bird song. David Carradine stands at the end of a stone walkway, 66 years old, hair gray now, face lined with decades of living hard. He wears a simple black suit, no tie. Hands trembling slightly at his sides. Behind him a car idles in the driveway. Quentin Tarantino sits in the driver's seat, watching, waiting. He drove David here, insisted on it. You cannot play Bill until you meet her. Quentin said this morning, you cannot understand what Kill Bill means until you understand what you took from her family 30 years ago. David wanted to refuse, wanted to say he had already met Linda, at the funeral, at the Dragon premiere, brief encounters, public moments, nothing real. But Quentin shook his head. She agreed to see you, privately, in her home. Do you understand what that means? She is giving you something she has never given anyone. The chance to actually talk, not perform, talk. So here he stands, at the end of a walkway, looking at a door that holds 30 years of history behind it. He walks forward, each step heavy. The walkway feels longer than it should. The door feels larger than it should. Everything feels like too much. He reaches the door, raises his hand, hesitates. What do you say to the woman whose husband's legacy you built your career on? What words exist for 30 years of complicated gratitude and guilt and admiration and shame? He knocks, footsteps inside, approaching, his heart hammering. The door opens. Lee Cadwell stands there, 62 years old, still beautiful, still composed, still carrying herself with the grace that made Bruce Lee fall in love with her 40 years ago. Her hair is silver now, her eyes still sharp, still seeing everything. She looks at David, studies him, taking his measure the way she has taken the measure of hundreds of people who came to her, claiming connection to Bruce. David Carradine. Her voice is neutral, not warm, not cold, just present. Mrs. Cadwell. David's voice cracks slightly. Thank you for seeing me. Linda steps back, opens the door wider. Come in, we have 30 years to discuss. Might as well be comfortable. David enters. The house is warm, sunlight streaming through large windows. Photographs everywhere. Bruce on the walls. Bruce with the children. Bruce in movies. Bruce alive and young and frozen in time. And in the living room. A chair. A leather armchair, worn, used, obviously old, obviously meaningful, set apart from the other furniture like a shrine. Linda sees David looking at it. That was Bruce's chair, his reading chair. He sat there every night. Philosophy books, poetry, scripts. He would read for hours while I sat across from him doing needlework. The children would play on the floor. It was our quiet time. She walks to the chair, runs her hand along the worn leather. No one has sat in it since he died. Not me, not the children, not anyone. It felt wrong somehow, like sitting in it would mean accepting he was never coming back. David does not move, does not speak, just watches her touch the memory of her husband. Linda turns to him. Sit in it. David blinks. What? Sit in Bruce's chair. I want to see something. I cannot do that. That is his chair. You said no one. I know what I said. Now I am saying something different. Sit. David hesitates. This feels like a test, a trap, something designed to make him fail. But Linda's eyes are steady. Whatever she wants from this moment, it is not cruelty. He walks to the chair, turns, lowers himself slowly into the worn leather, feels its shape around him, decades of use, decades of Bruce Lee's body pressing into this same space. He looks up at Linda, feels like a trespasser, feels like a thief caught in the act. Linda stares at him for a long moment, something working behind her eyes. Then she smiles, small, sad, but real. I thought it would make me angry, seeing you in his chair, seeing the man who took his role sitting where he sat. I prepared myself for anger. She sits on the couch across from him, but I do not feel angry. I feel. She pauses, relieved, like something I have been holding for 30 years just let go. David does not understand. Linda explains. For 30 years you have been a symbol to me. The symbol of what Bruce lost. Every time I saw your face on television, I thought that should be Bruce. Every time someone mentioned Kung Fu, I thought Bruce created that. Every time I felt the injustice of what Hollywood did, I directed it at you. Because you were there, you were visible, you were someone I could blame. She leans forward, but sitting here, looking at you in his chair, I see something I could not see before. You are not a thief, David. You are just a man who got a job and did it well. A man who carried something that was not his and tried to carry it with respect. David's eyes fill with tears. I never wanted to take anything from him, from you, from your family. I was just an actor. They gave me a role. I said yes. Anyone would have said yes. I know. I have always known. But knowing something and feeling something are different. It took me 30 years to feel what I knew. She stands, walks to a cabinet, pulls out a bottle and 2 glasses. Bruce loved good scotch. He would never admit it publicly. Bad for the martial artist image. But in private, just the 2 of us, he would pour 2 glasses and we would talk about everything and nothing. She pours, hands David a glass. 30 years late, but here we are. 2 glasses. A conversation we should have had decades ago. She raises her glass. To Bruce. Who would have hated this awkwardness? Who would have laughed at both of us being so dramatic? Who would have said, Linda, just talk to the man, and David, stop apologizing for things that are not your fault? David raises his glass. To Bruce, they drink. Linda sits back down. Ask me what you really want to ask, the thing you have been carrying for 30 years. I can see it in your eyes. Ask. David sets down his glass, takes a breath. Did he hate me? Linda is quiet, considering. No, he did not hate you. He was angry at Hollywood, angry at the system, angry at the racism that said an Asian man could not lead an American television show. But he never hated you personally. She pauses. In fact, he was curious about you. He watched your show, made notes, found things to respect in how you played Kane. He told me once that you understood the stillness better than he expected, that you found something true inside something that should have been false. David shakes his head. Everyone keeps telling me this. Dan Inosanto, Taki Kimura. Everyone says Bruce saw something in me, but I do not understand what. I am not a martial artist. I never was. That is exactly what he saw. Linda leans forward. Bruce spent his whole life training his body, perfecting technique, becoming the greatest martial artist in the world. But sometimes that became a prison. He could not turn it off, could not stop being Bruce Lee even when he wanted to just be Bruce. She gestures at David. You had none of that. You had no training, no technique, no physical mastery. All you had was presence, stillness. the ability to be calm without having to prove you could fight. Bruce found that fascinating. He wondered if he could learn to do what you did, to be still without the martial arts, to have presence without the power. David stares at her. He wanted to learn from me. He wanted to learn from everyone. That was Bruce, always growing, always absorbing. Even from people who knew less than him, especially from people who knew less than him. He said that is where the real lessons hide, in unexpected places. David sets down his glass, puts his face in his hands. 30 years. I have carried guilt for 30 years, wondering if I did something wrong, wondering if I should have refused the role, wondering if my whole career was built on stolen ground. Linda stands, walks over, sits on the arm of Bruce's chair, puts her hand on David's shoulder. Look at me. He looks up. Bruce died angry at Hollywood, not at you. The system took something from him and gave it to you. You did not ask for that. You did not plan it. You were just standing in the wrong place at the wrong time. Or maybe the right place at the right time, depending on how you see it. She squeezes his shoulder. I spent 30 years blaming you, because blaming you was easier than accepting that the world is unfair, that racism exists, that my husband deserved more than he got. But you are not responsible for the world being unfair. You're just someone who navigated it, like all of us. David wipes his eyes. Why are you telling me this now, after all this time? Because you're about to play another role connected to Bruce. Kill Bill is Quentin's love letter to martial arts cinema, to Bruce's films, to everything my husband helped create. And I do not want you to carry guilt into that performance. I want you to carry freedom. She stands, walks back to her seat. Play Bill with everything you have. Honor the tradition Bruce helped build. And when you are done, come back here. Have another drink. Tell me how it went. She raises her glass. 30 years is long enough to hold on to anger. I am tired, David. I want to let go. I want you to let go too. David stands, the tears still wet on his face. I do not deserve your forgiveness. No one deserves forgiveness. That is what makes it forgiveness. If you deserved it, it would just be justice. She walks him to the door, opens it. Quentin is still waiting in the car, patient, knowing something important is happening. Linda looks at David one last time. Bruce would have liked you. I know that now, not because you were talented, because you were honest, because you carried guilt that wasn't yours to carry, because you cared enough to feel bad about something you did not do wrong. She almost smiles. That is rare, David. Most people would have taken the role and never thought twice. You thought about it every day for 30 years. That means something. She starts to close the door, then stops. One more thing. Yes, the chair. Bruce's chair. Come back after Kill Bill wraps. Sit in it again. By then, maybe it will feel less like trespassing and more like visiting an old friend. She closes the door. David walks back to the car, slides into the passenger seat. Quentin looks at him, sees the tears, sees something shifted. You okay? David nods. Better than okay. For the first time in 30 years. Quentin starts the car. What did she say? David looks out the window, at the house where Bruce Lee's memory still lives, at the door that held 30 years of history. She said it is time to let go. And then she made me sit in his chair, the one no one has sat in since he died. She wanted to see if it would make her angry. Did it? No. She said it made her free. Quentin drives away, the house getting smaller in the mirror. David carries something new now. Not guilt, not shame, not the weight of 30 years of wondering. Permission. Permission from the one person who had every right to hate him. Permission to finally stop apologizing for being alive while Bruce Lee is dead. He once said that the hardest role he ever played was not Kane, not Bill, but himself. A man caught between what he pretended to be and what he wanted to become. And maybe that is why his story still resonates. Because we all know that feeling, the gap between the mask and the face beneath it. Is there a moment in your life where someone saw through your mask, or a moment where you finally took it off yourself? David Carradine walked through Hollywood for 50 years, carrying questions most people never ask out loud, about authenticity, about legacy, about what it means to be real in a world that rewards pretending. If you want to know the real stories, the ones they did not put in the interviews, you are in the right place. We are peeling back the curtain on the man behind the monk. If this story moved you, hit that like button. It helps more people discover these untold moments. Do not forget to subscribe to David Carradine, The Untold Path. We are just getting started. There are stories about Bruce Lee's best friend, about the master's son who waited 15 years, and about the Hollywood that tried to forget him. You do not want to miss what is coming next. Leave a comment below. What is your favorite David Carradine role? And did you know he carried this much weight behind the calm? I will see you in the next video. Walk the path.